We all know here on my immediate right, Honorable Charles Kakoma, one of the first members of parliament for UPND for many years, chairman of information. He held various portfolios in the party. Again, next to Honorable Kakoma is Honorable Captain Moono, equally former member of parliament for UPND, chairman, security and defense. So, as we are gathered here, I would invite you to be attentive to what is going to be said before I can come in to explain to you or sum up why we are gathered here, sum up the reaction from the people that are come to see us today, and then we'll invite questions from yourselves until the end of the session. So allow me, as a gentleman, to invite Honorable Kakoma to talk to you as we are interfacing. Honorable Kakoma.
Thank you very much, Secretary General. If you may permit me to stand, but somebody in the media is beckoning to me to sit, that I should sit. So I don't know whether there is agreement on whether I should sit or I should stand. The Secretary General, members of the National Management Committee, colleagues from the press. Obviously, today is a turning point in my political career because, as many of you know already, last year, in the run-up to the elections, I left UPND to join the Patriotic Front. But early this year, I resigned from the Patriotic Front, both as a Central Committee member as well as a member of the Patriotic Front. And therefore, since that time when I resigned from the Patriotic Front, I've been an ordinary citizen in Zambia, but interacting with everybody. There have been mixed reactions, of course, to my political stand. Many of my followers have been asking me to rejoin the UPND, and of course some people have also been advising to stay where I am. But after consultations, wide consultations with the members of my family, with the friends, with the members of the UPND, I made up my mind that I should go back to my home, my political home, the UPND. That is why today you have seen me appearing here, basically to ask the UPND as a party, to ask the chief executive of the party, the Secretary General that is, to find in his heart space for me to rejoin the UPND. But before I proceed on that trajectory, I wish, first of all, to offer my sincere apologies from the bottom of my heart for injuring the feelings of many of my colleagues in the UPND, in particular the feelings of His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zambia, President of UPND, His Excellency President Hakainde Hichilema. Many of you know that His Excellency, the President, has been a friend from a long time ago, a childhood friend. We were at school together, university together, we were in UPND together for a long time, and therefore he stood by me and I stood by him for many years in the UPND, stretching over a period of more than 20 years. And therefore, to have left him in the 11th hour was injurious to him. And I would like Mr. Secretary General to convey to His Excellency the President my sincere apologies to him for the actions that I took. I regret that action, and therefore, Mr. Secretary General, please convey to His Excellency that Charles Kakoma is very sorry to you. Equally, I would like to, Secretary General, convey also to the First Lady, Mtinta Hichilema, my apologies to her. You may wish to know that the First Lady, as my tribal cousin, was very welcoming to me. Each time I visited their home, I found it very welcoming, very friendly, and sometimes even at the community house, which is for some reason always cool or cold, I would freely even enter her kitchen and demand for tea, and she would gladly do that. So she was, I believe, hurt to find that the person that she trusted so much had ditched the husband as well as the party. So, Secretary General, again, convey my sincere apologies to the First Lady. Equally, on behalf of the UPND Secretary General, I would like to apologize to you, the members of the National Management Committee, the NEC, as well as the entire membership of the party for ditching you last year, and I ask that you forgive me for that as I make a decision to rejoin the party again today. Secretary General, where I went, I would like to say, I felt it fitting. Decided that I should come back home. Home is here in the UPND. I found it difficult to continue opposing the UPND on matters that I, as a member of the UPND then, was part of formulating some of the policies that the party now in government are implementing. I was part of the decision to fight for the rights and freedoms of the Zambian people. And we went through hell trying to achieve that objective. Today, the UPND in government is now restoring the rights and freedoms of the Zambian people. Today, the UPND has restored media freedoms. Today, the UPND has restored people's rights of association. You can belong to any political party, nobody will harass you. Today, the UPND has restored people's rights of movement, people's rights to trade in markets, people's rights to go to bus stops, and they are enjoying their freedoms of movement, freedoms of associations, without being harassed. Today, you can walk in the streets of Lusaka, streets of Ndola, Kitwe, anywhere, wearing political regalia of the party of your choice, and you won't be harassed. Those are the freedoms that the people wanted. Those are the freedoms that I was part of in fighting for. It would be, of course, unreasonable for me to start criticizing the UPND, opposing the UPND for restoring the rights and freedoms of the Zambian people, the freedom that they fought for. And therefore, I found it fitting that I should support the UPND, the government, in this quest to restore the rights and freedoms of the Zambian people. Today, I find the UPND in government are implementing many of the things that I was part of in formulating in the manifesto of the party. For example, I was part of the team in drafting the manifesto of the party, that the party in government should provide for free education for the Zambian people. And therefore, if the government is implementing my wish, is implementing what I originally also was part of, provide free education to the Zambian children, why should I start opposing the UPND for making such a decision? It would be unreasonable for me to continue opposing the UPND for doing what is right, what is also at the bottom of my heart. If the UPND are recruiting 10,000 teachers plus in order to enhance the quality of education in the country. And I know that as a member of parliament for many years, representing a rural area, the question of teachers was a big challenge, which I could not solve in my capacity as member of parliament. Indeed, there were schools in my constituency in Zambezi West there that had 1 or 2 teachers to teach from grade 1 up to grade 7, in some cases up to grade 9. Obviously, that was an impossible task. It compromised the quality of education. And therefore, if the government is now solving that problem, recruiting those teachers, why should I start opposing what is right, what is good for the Zambian people? If the government is now recruiting health workers, which is a problem in many of our health facilities, and I can attest to that because when I was member of parliament, in some health facilities in the constituents which are represented, no nurses, no doctors, sometimes medicines will be dispensed by general workers, by Malonda, which of course compromise the quality of health care. And if the government is now recruiting health workers to solve that problem, why should I continue to oppose what the government is doing for the Zambian people? The list can go on and on. But the bottom line, and I can tell you as an economist also, that this government is laying the foundation for the proper management of this economy. I know that a lot of people are complaining about the high cost of living and so on. Yes, it is true. But I can also tell you that without taking the steps that the government is taking now, the suffering could be more. The cost of living could be higher. So it is a necessary step, which is painful in the short run, but in the long run, the benefits will outweigh the bumpy road that the government has embarked on. I tell you that the major problem of this country, of this economy, is the external debt, even the internal debt. And for this country to start enjoying low inflation rates, to start enjoying a favorable exchange rate, to start enjoying growth in the economy, we need to refinance the huge debt. Economics is not always a very good subject for many people because it sounds very difficult. But to illustrate, if you got a loan from somebody doing Kaloa and it's charging you 60% of your debt, and you are struggling to repay that debt, the reasonable thing to you is to go to a bank or somebody else who can lend you money at a cheaper rate of say 1% or 0.5%, so that to repay the Congole from somebody who gave you Kaloga at 60%, pay him off to give you relief so that you release resources to do other things. That is basically what the UPND government is doing. To go and borrow from the cheaper source, the IMF or the World Bank at 0.5%, and pay off expensive Euro bonds at 10% or more than 10%. In that way, it will give you relief so that you have resources now to invest in various sectors of the economy. You have resources to find it easier to import things like fuel, which will be, if we did that, we will then be buying cheaper. We will then have an exchange rate things cheaply. You will then have inflation coming down. You will then have the cost of living coming down. That is how you resolve issues in the economy. So, in my view, towards the end of this year, you will find the prices of goods and services coming down. People will start praising the government again for having taken a bold decision to resolve these economic matters in the way they are doing now. But I wouldn't wait for that period when prices are now coming down. That's when I jump on the ship and say, now I'm joining UPND. Even at a difficult time when things economically are tough, I would like to be part of the membership of this party, which will drive the economy on the right trajectory. Secretary General, I wish to rejoin UPND without conditions. I'm rejoining UPND without conditions. I'm not going to give you pressure, Secretary General, that because I'm rejoining UPND, give me a position. No. My position is that of being a member of the UPND. That is enough for me. I know that even as an ordinary member of the party, you can still work and work for the party. There are many members of the party that are ordinary members of the party that do great work for the party. The position is not what translates into work. It is the determination to do what is right. And therefore, even as I join the UPND, even without a position, Secretary General, feel free to use me to do party work. And I know that part of the work that you are doing as Secretary General is to mobilize people to join the party, to recruit more members to join the party. And if you gave me a task to also go and recruit more members to join the UPND, I'll be bringing them every week. So, Secretary General, I think that your decision to have me today at this press briefing with the intention of joining the UPND, I'm very grateful for that. I would like to encourage you, Secretary General. I know some people might be opposing you for whatever decisions you are doing, including welcoming Charles Kakoma to UPND. You will be opposed. But in my political understanding and strategy, the best strategy is to keep on recruiting people. Is to keep on mobilizing the party. I know that in 2021, many people voted for the UPND, the famous 2.8. But that should not give you comfort, Secretary General, that because we have 2.8 million people that voted for UPND, then we should sit on our laurels and wait for 2026. Many of the people that voted for UPND had their own reasons for voting. They may not have the same reasons to vote in 2026. So we need to continuously vote, to continuously mobilize the people, bring in new membership, and bring in all members that left the party. Some people left the party because they were frustrated, like me. I was frustrated for one reason or the other. But I'm back. And there are other people that were frustrated. For example, within the inter-party elections, in the run-up to the election, some people were frustrated during the election. Some people are frustrated because they were not adopted at the council level, at the council chairman level, at parliamentary level, and so on. But their hearts are still with the UPND. Those need to be brought back to the party. Secretary General, this potential new member of the UPND called Charles Kakoma has spoken enough, and if you continue speaking, you might even talk about the things that will annoy the Secretary General, and we will not welcome you. So at this juncture, I would like to leave it at that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We will shake your hand. Thank you. We will shake your hand.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Captain Moono, it's your show now.
Thank you very much, SG, for giving me this opportunity to be at this press briefing. Since my brother has already introduced a protocol of standing while talking, I'll also stand. First, I would like to thank you, SG, for having time in your busy schedule to host us at this Secretary General's office, where I am rejoining my party, UPND. I'm told at the end there will be questions, but some questions maybe I can answer them. Well, some of the media people maybe have not seen me for quite some time, because for the past 6 years I've been an ordinary member and quite in the rural area in Choma district. My names are Captain Cosmas Moono. I'm the first MP for Chilanga for UPND in 2001, meaning I joined the UPND in 1998. In 1998, when it was formed, UPND has been my party, which has made me see the width and breadth of Zambia. In 2016, I resigned from UPND, and towards the elections, I was invited by PF to stand in Chilanga when they saw that I was a popular person there on PF ticket. I did that and campaigned on PF and lost. After 6 months of being in PF, in 2017, I resigned from PF and became an ordinary person. From 2017 to now, I've just been quiet. You've never heard me talk anything concerning politics. I wanted to enjoy ordinary life and feel ordinary life. But you know, when you are in Friti, you always want to go back to Fritiism. When you are a politician and things are happening, inside your heart, you also feel like participating. When UPND won last year and started implementing policies I was very excited. Those of you who were in the by-election in Kawata, you saw me participating. In 2021, in Choma, I was campaigning for UPND as an ordinary person. Then I realized I'll be like that man who went to see Jesus at night. Is it Thomas? Nicodemus. If I am doing things for UPND, let me formally rejoin the party so that we can work and develop this nation. His Excellency Hakainde Hichilema has brought a lot of change to Zambia. One, he has demilitarized the cadres. My dear, those of you who have never faced PF cadres at close range, if you don't know how life is, how the crocodile lives in water, ask the fish. Those cadres were scaring not only to ordinary citizens, even the police was running away. If you are walking with your wife and you meet the commander on the road, and he calls your wife, you just have to give him a chance. Farms were taken, houses were taken, railway lines were uprooted. Now, if you look at what the president has brought, there's calmness, there's no cadreism. The environment is of peace. I know those who are brutalizing Zambians are missing that scenario, and they are complaining and criticizing. But I think this is the Zambia we are all aiming for. Look at the fight for against corruption. Have you ever heard of a university being stolen? You are not talking of a primary school or a secondary school. University like that ones are there. All of it is stolen. How many primary schools, how many secondary schools were stolen in a similar fashion? We need to give the president a lot of support as Zambians. Corruption is a very complex thing to fight, because those who steal, they have got money. And when you want to catch them, they are also protected by law, by their lawyers. Therefore, as Zambians, we need to encourage the president to fight this corruption. My friend has alluded to the debt. And one debt that comes to me is the Eurobond, 750 million, which was given to one of the institutions which I know was given was UTH car park. You go there now. Up to now, the car park is nowhere to be seen. If you take a patient to UTH today, parking space for you will take you about 1 hour. Meanwhile, the Eurobond went there. Zambia Railways, we are told we'll have fast running trains, bullet trains. Alas, what has happened? To see a train now, some children even start crying because you rarely see the train and it is debilitated. Meanwhile, the Eurobond went there, and UPND government, the new Dawn government, have to pay back that money. Inden was one of those given. The list goes, including ZESCO. Was the expansion of ZESCO was given that Eurobond. Majority of that Eurobond, where it went, the results, the effects are not there. But that money has to be paid. Therefore, Zambians, we should actually be very sympathetic to this government. Because the PF government was spending the debts. They were flashing money and stealing some of it. The UPND, the new deal, the new Dawn government has to repay that money. Because that is an agreement between the government of Zambia and the lenders. Therefore, I think the president needs to be given serious support. And that is why some of us have chosen to come public and show support to the president, to New Dawn government, and move forward. The economic trajectory which the New Dawn government is taking, I think it will show us, it will develop this country. It is similar to the HIPIC during the Mwanawasa program. During the HIPIC program, we had difficulties, but at the end, I think Mwanawasa government was one of the most famous and good government we have ever had in Zambia. And I see UPND even doing more. The only problem we have in Zambia is you bring a good president, he does good things, then you bring another one to chew the good things, and you go back to square one. I think now Zambians, we have learned that we should actually scrutinize the type of leadership we are going to have. The opposition is talking a lot, criticizing whatever the president and the government of UPND is doing. One of these critics was, I laughed. He was talking of how the president dresses when he goes to Mpongwe, to open farms there and whatever. Now, me, I'm from military. We are taught how to dress according to occasions. You can't put on a suit when you are going to the farms. You wear according to the occasion. And I think our president is the most well-dressed president to any occasions. We are aware of some of our leaders, former leaders, who used to go and dance now in the neighboring countries. And they were there showing us their berries. Nobody complained. So I think let's not pay attention to some of these people. When UPND is implementing these programs like free education, they are jealous. No, now you've brought free education, there will be so many children, no classroom, what have you. But you see, His Excellency is very intelligent. He brings free education. More children have gone to classes. The classes are few. He has given them CDF to go and build more classrooms. Then what and buy more desks. He has recruited the teachers. What more do you want from such a man? Why should you keep opposing such a man? Surely, do you want him to come to your constituents and start building classrooms? I think he can't go that far. It is up to the communities now. The MPs, the headmen, the chiefs, everybody in that community to see their priorities. If they have no classroom, use the CDF and build classrooms. They don't need to come here. I think, in my view, this is the leadership which needs to die for. This is the leadership which we should support. I know good things are bad to those who are used to do dubious things. Most of the youth who were cadres in the previous regimes, receiving money, showing them on social media, heaps of money with no trace of where that money has come from. Now they are against the ruling government. But you know, stolen money doesn't last. And stolen money, you will never be free. You tell the children to open the gate and check the vista, and they come back and say, let him come in. But if you are free, you are not a thief. The doors are open. People come in and out. So let's not be discouraged. I've come back. I want to borrow my brother's word with no condition. But we have come to work and make UPND strong. Yes, we made mistakes. We offended our UPND family for leaving the party. But even in the churches, even in the Bible, If you lose one sheep and you have 100, you will remain with 99. You leave the 99 and look for one, so that you have your 100. Most of you here are Christians. I see most of you going out every day doing test fight in the field to bring the sinners to church, isn't it? So that your church becomes big, so that your church grows, so that you are strong. So even our party, UPND, I'm happy that I'm one of those who were lost and they've brought me back.
Welcome back to your homeland.
And as I come back, please be free to interact with me. And from now on, SG, you are free, I'm free. You can call on me at any time, even 24 hours, to do pathway. I'll be available. We want to grow. We want this country to develop. We want Zambia to be a good country to live in. Thank you.
Members of the press, you have heard for yourselves. Members of the press, you have heard for yourselves. I do not want to start explaining why they are here. We're hearing whatever has been said at the same time. So my reaction to what has been said is as follows. Who are these men? You have heard for yourselves where they have come from with this party. They were there at the founding of this party. Like they are saying, using their own words, they strayed along the way. They strayed, and we must feel that when one of you gets lost, for whatever reason, the best thing to do is to see how you can reconcile and come back and pave forward. The lesson that we learn from what has happened today is that no individual is bigger than the party. It's a lesson to all of us. Lesson to the people that are currently within the UPND and those that are out. So they're coming back to the family is a clear indication that you are stronger inside than outside. It's in that line that we feel our brothers here today, they are welcome back to the family. They are welcome because their background in this party is rich. UPND today is talking about being in government, but the UPND we started with this gentleman was not as attractive as you see it today. These two gentlemen were there at a time when it was unfashionable to belong to UPND. They stood their ground when UPND was at a rock bottom. They stood their ground in 2006 when UPND was disintegrating, totally finished. That's when they stood to defend UPND. If they were weak at that particular time, there was not going to be any UPND that was going to form government today. It is for the same reason why we are saying when they left, they injured our feelings. Indeed, they injured our feelings because we know what they did at an hour of need. We know how they sacrificed when the party was completely getting finished. They stood there every time Charles stood up 2026, 2027 and going forward. You could see the courage of a man who is defending a system, an institution which is at a rock bottom. Then you start wondering, what courage has that man? Today, when I am personally criticized for bringing in people like him, I keep quiet. I'm called all sorts of names. I just keep quiet. It's not because I have no feelings, but it's because there are certain things that I know what my attackers do not know. They do not know where this party came from. I want to tell you this. Every time when we are in a national management committee, or we have a big meeting that is all UPND, I look back and look at the people that are gathered there. Then I ask myself in my heart and say, how many were there when we started the journey? You find that the people that are there are from the DECO, others are come from the MMD, FDD, PF, UNIP. They are there. Those are the people that managed to cross River Jordan and reach the canal. Those that were there at the beginning of our journey, good number of them are gone 6 feet under. So if our policy as a party was to just stand our ground and say, we are not going to receive anyone. We are not going to receive anyone. Today, we're going to belong to history, the dungeons of history, like every other party that you know about. But Hakainde always told us, he said, you are criticizing others, you are attacking others for coming in the party. Where do you come from? Then you realize, I was UNIP. You realize, I was MMD. Then you realize, I was PF. But you do not want others to come in. You have heard of very good policies that were being illustrated by the gentleman here. And they do not want people to participate in that revolution. You want people to start insulting the good policies that people are enjoying currently. I want to tell you this. Much as you feel there is time to sit down, enjoy, and then maybe when we are tired of enjoying, that's when we now start inviting people to come and join us. No, the human being is a very strange animal. You close the door for them today, they'll find another door open somewhere. At a time when you start running to look for them, they'll tell you, sorry, we are no longer part of you. When I go out there to count the campaign in by-elections, I sweat. I sweat because the people that write very nicely on the blogs, nice language in very good English are not there. We don't find them there in the field. They are no longer, they are not there. When we win, they are the first to celebrate. When we lose, it's meant that the SG has failed. When we lost Kaombwe, everyone was attacking SG. But none of those people that were attacking me in the blocks were in Kaombwe, they were not in Rusangazi, they were nowhere near. When you went to Lukutwad, in Rubansenshi, they were not there. We spent sleepless nights in the bush. They were not there. When we came out with victory, they were the first to celebrate. My request, humble request to them, is that we understand, we appreciate their concerns. This is their party. UPND is their party. They have every right to make all sorts of comments, and we are not going to cry foul. But when they say we should not be recruiting people, or we should not be receiving people, let them tell us a new formula that we should use to grow this party. We will not disagree with them. Let them come. They are open. This office here is open. Come day and night and teach us the new scientific methods to recruit membership to join the party without receiving people like the gentlemen that are stayed here. We will accommodate your views. We will accommodate. The PF is dead, buried. But let me tell you this. There are other players that are right now on the market. They are right now in the field out there. I've just come back from a tour of Eastern Province. You may think it was an easy ride. No, it wasn't. Because we're crisscrossing with members of new parties. You have heard of a party which has been formed just now, and the other party which is not very old. I was busy crossing with those people in Chipata. We're crisscrossing Katete, Sinda, Lusangas. They are busy recruiting, and you are telling me to sit back and wait for you to tell me in 2026 to start recruiting. Who am I going to recruit? Because people will be gone. People will be gone. So, if there is a formula that you know of that I do not know, or that the members of the National Management Committee do not know, that you know that is better than receiving people back, receiving new members in, please, we are more than willing. We are more than grateful to receive those ideas, and we will employ them to make sure that our party is strong. We are waiting for you to bring those good ideas, and we'll employ them to make sure that our party is strong. We have not forgotten that you were there in the dungeons at an hour of need. You were there in the dungeons. You were facing all those pangas. You were being harassed in streets. You were being beaten for just putting on anything red. And you deserve to be rewarded. President Hakainde Chilema is a visionary man. He will not forget those that were with him. The only challenge is that we still are studying his way of doing things, methodical. But as far as it's concerned, he has not forgotten anyone. There's no need for you to panic and think. Because Charles is here today, Cosmas is there today, then Cosmas is coming to take my job tomorrow. No. You have heard from themselves. You heard clearly, vividly, that we are coming in as cadres, as card-carrying members. We are prepared to work for the party. Very few people these days come to me and tell me that they are ready to work for the party. Very few, extremely few. Those that are filling this office every single day. Come here on Monday morning, you'd think there's a party going on in here. Everyone is asking me as and when I'll give them a job. And we are saying, please give us a chance. We are trying to sort out things. We will not forget you. But the people that are saying, we have come, we want to work, we want to build this party, they are very few. They are very few. And we understand there's frustrations. We understand why the delays caused in their offering of jobs. Please do not use that as a reason to destroy what you have nicely sacrificed for, and today you have formed the government. We appreciate what you have done, and we can never turn our eyes and pretend you have not worked. We appreciate that. But this system of meeting SG Emenda in the street, you wave at him, then you go at your office or you go at your home, start writing negative things that you could not advise Emenda when you're meeting him in the street, is not productive. It's not productive. We read all those things. Reading the news is part of this job. You have to know the feelings of the people. But some comments are so negative in as to more negative than some of the negativities that we hear from the PF. Our members of our own parties are more destructive in certain cases than PF itself, than Nakachita. So you start wondering, why? What is the reason for being so destructive to your own party? We are not saying we don't want to have new ideas. We don't want to learn. We don't want to be advised. No. But why do you leave an office, you want to advise the Secretary General, instead of entering his office, you come and stand where the members of the press are standing here and start shouting at Emenda inside. Is the idea really to build this office or destroy it? So my humble appeal, and I'm on my knees, is please, this office is open to new ideas. We have recruited technocrats whose job is to receive your ideas, perfect those ideas, fine-tune those ideas, so that this party can go forward. I would say that, let me end as I started. Let this be a lesson to all of us. A lesson to all of us that no individual is bigger than the party. So, for whatever action, for whatever frustration that we go through, let us realize that today I seem to be important. Today, when I say I'm calling for a press briefing, you can see how many cameras are here. You can see how many recordings are on this table. I am not standing here pretending I'm important. You are here today because of what the mando Hakainde gave to me and named me to be the Secretary General. It's only that respect that Akainde bestowed on me that makes me where I am. So what am I saying? I'm saying I'm not important than the UPND, which makes me be. Frustration must not make us do things that are not good. Look at that man, that Ngoni man there. Michael Chuzu. He was there when we were starting this UPND. One of the first members of our parties. He has been arrested, that man, suffered in prison to defend this party. When appointments were being made, he has up to now not heard his name, but he's one of the few people that I go with in the field to continue recruiting. The man who stayed in prison for years because he refused to accept to be swayed by the PF. They concocted a nice story, nice case against him. The poor man suffered. But you have not heard him rushing to give some negative things. I know the president will not forget such good men. Because they were there for him at an hour of need. They were there for him at an hour of need. So my humble appeal to all members, please, we have opened a statistics office here which is recording all our members from the polling station, ward, constituency, district, and the provinces, and the NMC. The office is here recording everything. We want to know who is our member and who is not our member. Lots of people bought our cards and we are busy recording all those members so that as we continue giving out jobs, we know who is who. We know who is who. So at this juncture, let me turn to my brothers that have joined, rejoined their party, and tell you, Charles Cosmas, you are more than welcome. Please stand up. The uniform that you have known in all your political life, apart from a few moments when you strayed.
We are here because of you. You contributed a lot so that we are now in this party.
So let us shake hands. Charles, let's shake hands. This is one of the first members of parliament for UPND, and he is Cosmas, Captain Cosmas Moono, and one of the few founders members of parliament that were there in 2001, back home where they belong. Please, now I'm throwing the ball to the media to ask as many questions as you can. We will be able to respond. You heard the challenge coming from them. Says the SG, some of the questions we will answer them ourselves, because we are the ones that made you to be here today. Sit outside here and face the press. So, members of the press, Mwalimu, let's take a seat. Please receive questions.
At an 11th hour, had the PF won, were you going to look back to the good policies that you helped the party formulate? The other one, we were told, it's in the public domain, that the moment you left, you are given material things such as the expensive Hilux, which had made rounds in the social media. Have you thought of returning it back to the PF as you come back to the UPND?
Thank you very much. And then the third question from here.
Good morning, panelists. My name is Mishek Mirongo. My question to Mr. Moono. Veteran politician Honorable Daniel Mukombo once said that Zambian politics is politics of the belly. The question that I have for you is that are you guys practicing politics of the belly? That UPND is now in government. You feel you can easily sustain the stomach? Thank you.
So I take those three questions.
Issues of morality.
That is yours. You can start. I think the questions are coming, the answers will be coming from this end, so I have to literally run away from you.
Thank you very much, SG. This time I'll try to answer the questions while seated because of the sunshine I was jotting down something, but I can't read you on this table what I wrote. But there's a shade under which is helping me to see. Somebody wanted to find out what the major frustrations were that made me leave the UPND. I touched that in passing, but I may repeat. I say that in the run-up to the elections, of course, we had our own elections within the party, and during that period, during the period of elections, there are always issues that arise. And one of those issues is, of course, arising from the convention, the UPND convention or General Assembly, as we call it in the UPND, that I felt frustrated. I felt that after the General Assembly, I won, of course. I was among the top 10 politicians that have scored the highest marks. But after that, I did not see the vision of the party about myself. And I thought, I became frustrated that even after